Operation Epic Fury.
Tonight, the Strait of Hormuz is turning into a full-scale test of American power, and President Donald Trump just made one thing crystal clear. If Iran touches U.S. ships, the regime will be blown off the face of the earth. That's not vague, that's not soft, that is commander-in-chief language backed by destroyers, redirected commercial traffic, and 7 Iranian fast boats now at the bottom of the water. Iran had a choice: back down or challenge the United States, and what they did next tells you exactly who fears direct confrontation with Trump's America. Now, this matters to every American family because the Strait of Hormuz is one of the most important energy choke points on the planet. When Iran threatens ship movement there, it's not some distant regional drama. It can hit fuel prices, shipping costs, supply chains, retirement accounts, and the cost of basic goods here at home. And that's why Project Freedom matters. President Trump told Fox that the U.S. moved to guide trapped vessels through the Strait of Hormuz because it was for humanity, because more than 20,000 sailors were caught in danger and some were running low on food and supplies. That's leadership. And look at Iran's response. According to reports, after U.S. forces moved to open the lane and destroyed 7 small Iranian boats, Tehran did not go after American bases or ships directly. Instead, it lashed out at regional infrastructure, including the UAE. Why? Because the regime knows the red line. It knows Trump means what he says, and it knows the United States now controls the pace of this fight. And while the Trump administration secures shipping lanes abroad, it's also moving hard to secure America's economic lifelines right here at home. This breaking news from the White House: they just announced over $30 billion to secure America's critical mineral supply chains and named a specific Alaskan project as a key strategic asset for U.S. mineral independence. I've personally been to the Vizsla copper drilling site in Canada myself. I've held the core samples with my hands. But what's happening right now in Alaska is bigger than most people realize. President Trump just unveiled Project Vault, a $12 billion strategic mineral reserve designed to stockpile essential resources and keep America strong, secure, and independent. That puts serious attention on companies positioned in this space, including Vizsla Copper, which trades in the United States under VCUFF and in Canada as VCU.V. If you want the details and why this matters now, check the exclusive briefing only for Next News viewers linked below before this crowd catches on. Now back to the showdown in Hormuz, where the military picture is getting even clearer by the hour. Now this is the part that corporate media will try to blur. CENTCOM says the guided missile destroyer USS Pinckney is actively enforcing the U.S. blockade against Iran, and as of today, 50 commercial vessels have already been redirected to ensure compliance. Let me tell you that again, 50. That is not a symbolic patrol. This is control, this is leverage, and when the White House says the math is simple, President Trump holds all the cards, that's not spin. It is the battlefield reality that Iran is now reacting to. The U.S. tries to open the Strait of Hormuz and sinks 7 Iranian boats. In response, Iran attacks UAE energy infrastructure and does not attack U.S. bases or ships. So after the claim 7 Iranian boats were sunk and Tehran hit UAE infrastructure instead of U.S. targets, Trey Yingst lays out Trump's warning word for word: touch American ships and Iran gets blown off the face of the earth. Listen carefully.
I spoke with President Trump for 20 minutes about the situation with Iran. He talked about Project Freedom and the U.S. efforts to guide vessels through the Strait of Hormuz, issuing a new warning to the Iranian regime, saying if the Iranians try to target U.S. ships in this area, they will be, quote, blown off the face of the earth. Remember, this was a project implemented by the Americans overnight to assist the hundreds of vessels that are currently trapped in the Persian Gulf. We're talking about more than 20,000 sailors. And the president told Fox he's doing this for humanity. Some of these sailors were running out of food and supplies on these vessels due to the Iranian threats that are ongoing in this area. And again, the president saying that if U.S. ships in the region are targeted, the Iranians will be blown off the face of the earth. Now, I also asked President Trump about the possibility of negotiations with Iran succeeding. He said the Iranians are being far more malleable than they were being in the past, showing flexibility given the U.S. pressure that continues as part of the American blockade of Iranian ports. President Trump called that blockade the greatest military maneuver in history. As it relates to the combat preparations that continue across the region, President Trump understands there are 2 paths here. The Iranians either make a good faith deal or ultimately combat operations could resume. And President Trump told Fox News that right now they have bases all over the world. There are American preparations underway. He said they're all stocked with equipment, and we can use all of that stuff. And if he needs it, he will use it. But the headline here, Sandra, the president issuing a new warning to the Iranian regime if they do fire on U.S. vessels in the Persian Gulf or near the Strait of Hormuz.
They will be blown off the face of the earth. That is what President Trump said. You heard the threat, the stakes around Project Freedom. Now we have this post from President Trump. Iran has taken some shots at unrelated nations with respect to the ship movement, Project Freedom, including a South Korean cargo ship. Perhaps it's time for South Korea to come and join the mission. We've shot down 7 small boats, or as they like to call them, fast boats. It's all they have left. Other than the South Korean ship, there has been, at this moment, no damage going through the strait. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Dan Kane will have news conference tomorrow morning. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That is President Trump laying it out. Now CENTCOM showing the USS Pinckney on patrol, revealing 50 commercial vessels have already been redirected. Guided missile destroyer USS Pinckney observes a merchant vessel while on patrol enforcing the blockade. As of today, 50 commercial vessels have been redirected by U.S. forces to ensure compliance. So the blockade is active and being enforced in the water. And the White House posting this, the math is simple. President Trump holds all of the cards. And you can see this image here that President Trump posted to social. Iran leader dead, Navy destroyed, Air Force destroyed, Air Defense destroyed. USA, Navy operational, Air Force operational, missile defense 100% operational. So the White House clearly declaring that we have the leverage. And now we have this from President Trump, post by the White House. Iran has taken some shots at unrelated nations with respect to the ship movement. It's they reposted on the White House account his Truth Social post that I just read to you. We've shot down 7 small boats, or as they like to call them, fast boats. It's all they have left. So Trump to Fox News, Iranians either make a good faith deal or ultimately combat operations could resume. The ultimatum, in plain language, deal or war. Iran's position tonight, strait closed, shoot and destroy order active. Fujura burning. The vice president says Hormuz control is an indisputable, VP says Hormuz control is an indisputable Iranian right. The UAE is prepared to strike back. Bahrain declared national emergency. Israeli army on high alert. CENTCOM won't confirm the ceasefire. No good faith deal on the table. Apparently, Saudi and UAE are actively pressuring Trump to restart the war with Iran. Israel's response is telling the IDF and CENTCOM are running daily situation assessments, and their target bank inside Iran keeps growing. The problem is every Gulf monarchy is pushing for the war to continue. So that was the ultimatum in plain English. Here's some more video that we have. Trump, Iran just made a big mistake, the biggest mistake in its history. Look at this video here. The last time Trump said something like this, U.S. and Israeli strikes on Iran began within hours. So this is some video. It looks like the ship had been struck. This must be the South Korean ship that President Trump is referring to. It's hard to tell. This is from GeoWatch posting that video picked up by Mariana Fall. The UAE has strongly condemned Iran's attacks. They also state they have full and legitimate right to respond. The UAE has been absorbing Iranian strikes since February 28th. 537 ballistic missiles, 2,256 drones, 26 cruise missiles intercepted. And then, of course, the message that Iran will be blown off the face of the earth. So, where do we go from here? I'll tell you this, though, the big reveal. Iran's behavior proves that Trump's pressure is working. The regime is barking, burning outside targets and issuing threats, but it's avoiding a direct strike on U.S. forces because it understands the cost. President Trump said Iran has taken shots at unrelated nations, including a South Korean cargo ship, and confirmed U.S. forces shot 7 small boats, or fast boats, as he put it. It's all they have left. That line says everything. Their operations and options are shrinking. Their fleet is reduced, their bluff is exposed, and Project Freedom is not just escorting ships, it's squeezing Iran at the choke point, forcing a choice to make a real deal with the United States or face consequences on America First terms. So let's just sum it up now. President Trump moved to secure the Strait of Hormuz, protect trapped sailors, and defend freedom of navigation. Iran tested the line, lost 7 boats, then dodged direct conflict with American forces and hit softer regional targets instead. That's not strength, that's called panic. The Trump administration is showing the world what real deterrence looks like. Clear warnings, military dominance, and zero apology for defending U.S. interests. This ends one of 2 ways. Iran comes to the table in good faith, or it learns the hard way that Trump was not bluffing. If you believe America should never surrender a vital shipping lane to terrorists and tyrants, share this report right now and subscribe if you want the stories the legacy press will not tell you. Comment below, should Trump keep tightening the pressure on Iran, yes or no? Make sure, if you haven't done so, text raw feed to that number on the screen, 844-840-4963. That's how you beat the algorithm and get direct updates to your phone from me when YouTube notifications never arrive. And check out the Next News merch shelf below this video. Keep fighting for the truth because America wins when America leads.
The system controls information. Information control is power. I don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.